Hey, what's up, guys? It's Trevor here with your daily stock market and crypto update. Alright, so I'm about to throw it on FSD. I think I can, yeah, I'm good to go now. Going to Chipotle for a little bit of lunch. But I wanted to talk about Metaplanet stock. So hear me out. Metaplanet stock is down a lot. And as much as that sucks, because I have quite a few shares of Metaplanet, when I say it's down a lot, I mean it's down, like in the past couple of months, it's down a lot. So with that being said, is it a buying opportunity? Or is it just going to keep going down and down and down? Well, my humble opinion is that this stock is incredibly undervalued. And it's probably going to make a lot of millionaires at this level. I'm tempted. I've been tempted, honestly, for the past week or two to sell some of my Tesla position. I've got a six-figure Tesla position that I'm up over 100% on. I was buying it heavily in like January of 2023, so I was buying it around the 120 levels. So obviously you'd be like, hey, Trevor, what's up? Wouldn't that be like a 300% gain, over 300%? Yeah, that's true. But I sold quite a bit and traded it a little bit around the 200. So I think my cost basis now is like 220, 210, something like that. So anyway, yeah, from that cost basis, I'm up around 100%, maybe a little more. So with that being said, I also have this position in Metaplanet that's down huge, that nothing's really changed. In fact, Bitcoin hasn't went down. Like since I bought into my Metaplanet position, I think I have an average. My average position is at like $9 or $10 on Metaplanet. So I was buying at quite inflated MNAVs, which in retrospect is quite unfortunate. But still, I do think that Metaplanet has a very, very, very good chance of becoming the next MicroStrategy. So like I said, I'm tempted to sell out of my position. Not completely out of position in Tesla, definitely not. But I'm tempted to sell, high 5 figs, or high 4 figs. I'm not rich. High 4 figs, low 5 figs, maybe 10 grand, 20 grand, or something like that, putting into Metaplanet. And I still might do that, but as of today, I'm not going to. But anything under $4 a share for Metaplanet is honestly just a freaking joke. Like, how is it this low? How is the MNAV for Metaplanet like less than 1.5? Last time I looked, it's like 1.3 or something. So they've got a 30% premium on their Bitcoin holdings today, and that's not including like any of the Bitcoin that they're gonna buy with these preferred shares in Japan. Like, to me, that is definitely the gigantic, brilliant catalyst for Metaplanet to become worth a lot of money one day. Like Michael Saylor himself has been promoting Metaplanet, and we see MicroStrategy is like around $100 billion market cap, right? And Metaplanet's like around 2.5, 3 billion. It's not a tiny company, but it's nowhere near $100 billion, right? But also, to be fair, MicroStrategy has like 650,000 Bitcoin. And as of today's video, I think Metaplanet has around 25,000 Bitcoin, but they also have like around $1 billion, I want to say, in cash. Because they just bought like $650 million worth of Bitcoin a few days ago at like 117,000 per Bitcoin, which ended up being like 5,400 Bitcoin or something along those lines. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the preferred shares in Japan, that's what's going to be huge for this company, because they're giving out a 6% dividend for perpetual shares, perpetual preferred shares to Japanese shareholders. And it's, with how yield starved the Japanese people are, and how they're basically, they live in just a crazy inflationary environment with perpetually interest rates being at like 0.5%, because Japan's always trying to drive innovation in their country. It's just one of those things where it's like they're set up for so much success, And what I wanted to bring up about Michael Saylor also is that he's promoted Metaplanet quite a bit, but he's also alluded to the fact that he couldn't enter the Japanese market the same way that Metaplanet could, simply because MicroStrategy is an American company. That being said, so Metaplanet has a lot of opportunities coming its way to basically be the Japanese Bitcoin treasury company. And my view is that if Bitcoin does well, these treasury companies are going to do a lot better. You know, they really are just like leveraged plays on crypto, similar to like BitMine with Tom Lee, MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor, and Metaplanet with Simon Garovich and Dylan LeClaire. So it's very exciting to think about where Metaplanet's future is going to be, because even at a MNAV of 1, you know, if they've got, let's just say, $2 billion of Bitcoin right now, you know, and Bitcoin's worth 115-ish K, give or take a few K. When Bitcoin goes to $1 million, right, you can just for simple math, just multiply it by 10, right? That means that the company's going to have, if they acquire no more Bitcoin, issue no more shares, don't get any money from the preferred shares, they're going to have $20 billion in Bitcoin, right? Their market cap is like 2.7 billion right now. So in no way, shape, or form should Metaplanet or MicroStrategy, for that matter, ever really be valued below an MNAV of 1. The only way that the masses will ever actually just value the company at less than 1 MNAV is if, there's going into a small town, so I need to make sure I'm not speeding. Is if like Bitcoin's going down heavily and like these companies are going to have to pay a bunch of dividends to shareholders for their preferreds, right? Then the market could get a little sketched out, saying, oh, this company could go bankrupt for this reason, that reason. But the thing is, like, they're so over. Their Bitcoin holdings are so much larger than their debt for Metaplanet or MicroStrategy. Metaplanet's really just following what MicroStrategy did, but just adhering to like the Japanese kind of population. So yeah, it's just so interesting. It's such an interesting price point for Metaplanet, where it's like if you did have some extra cash, buying under $4 a share, I think it's just a steal. And I do think I'm gonna have to buy some more. I don't know where I'm gonna get the money from. In your IRAs or 401ks, you can generally trade and not pay any taxes either. So I might just have to initiate a position into Metaplanet in one of my retirement accounts, because I don't really want to sell any of my Tesla shares or any. I've got some MicroStrategy options. I've got some BitMine shares as well, but I think I do need to get a little bit more exposure to Metaplanet since it's down so much. But I also don't want to put the whole boat into it, It's a position where like I wouldn't make it more than like 10-ish% of someone's portfolio. That way, in case Bitcoin doesn't pan out, you'll do fine. But I don't see a world where Bitcoin does well and Metaplanet does not also do extremely, extremely well, especially concerning these preferreds. That's really what I wanted to make this video about, is the preferreds and how they allow Bitcoin treasury companies to basically front load all this Bitcoin. They basically get to buy all this Bitcoin, pay 6% on buying this Bitcoin with other people's money. Even MicroStrategy, like some of their preferreds are paying 10% here in the US, right? But the Japanese market has such low interest rates, they can give 6% dividend yields, and I'm like, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for Metaplanet. They're going to be able to get so much money from investors to go front load all this Bitcoin before it gets to $1 million. And like, it's kind of like Michael Saylor says, where he thinks that Bitcoin is going to increase at an average CAGR, compounded annual growth rate, of around like 40% a year. He said 40% or 30%, but I think with it tailing off towards the end, You know, we're still in the position now where it's like, who knows what the CAGR is going to be on Bitcoin for the next few years, but I think it's going to be quite large, and definitely in my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, but definitely way more than 6%, which is what Metaplanet is getting all this money for. Getting all the money to buy the Bitcoin for. They're paying basically a 6% charge or a fee or a tax is what you can really consider it as, being a dividend to front load the Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm going to keep talking about Metaplanet, especially with any news that comes about, but I am very bullish on Metaplanet. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin during Trump's term, and cryptocurrencies in general. I like MicroStrategy, I like Metaplanet, I like Bitmine. I think ETH is going to do well also, but I wanted to make today's video about Metaplanet because it's down so much, and it's already, you know, been like triple this price before. It's been over this. It's been like $15 or $16 per share. So like, the opportunity in this one's massive. Okay guys, yeah, thank you for watching my video and have a great day.